All right, so I think a month back, I'm really late to do this video, but I asked on my Instagram story to ask me questions about my life or really anything in particular. So I'm gonna go through all my questions and answer them for you guys. I am not going in any particular order, so they're probably gonna be like all over the place, and I'll probably answer a few twice in what I'm gonna say. So we'll start with the first one. What did you do pre-OnlyFans and what did you want to become growing up? What did I do pre-OnlyFans? So my first job, I worked at Subway for like 3 months. That was my first job. I was 17. And then after that, I started working at Gold's Gym. After I quit Subway, I started working at Gold's Gym. I worked there for a really long time, and then I quit and started working for Verizon Wireless for 3 years. I was an assistant manager there. And then I got my personal training certification. Started personal training for a few years, and I was a fitness manager, so I managed the training department, I think for 2 years. And then I said, fuck that, I didn't want to do that anymore, quit my job, and I started doing OnlyFans. So that's how I started doing that. But yeah, those are my jobs before I started getting into modeling and OnlyFans and all that. The next question is, how did your parents react to you starting your career in the adult industry? So So my mom was not too happy. She knew that I did OnlyFans and that I like filmed with like my boyfriend at the time. I did all that, but she didn't want me to go into like the mainstream side of it, because obviously she heard a bunch of like terrible stories and that people get really fucked up and like they're taken advantage of and all of that. So she wasn't very happy because she just wanted to make sure that I was safe and not doing anything stupid. But after I explained, you know, what I was doing and how it works and all that, then she was fine. But she was pissed for like 2 weeks and like wouldn't talk to me. And my mom and I are really close. So, but then she eventually got over it. And then my dad, when I told my dad, he literally said, hell yeah, I already knew you were gonna do porn. So it wasn't really a shock. I'm really close with both my parents, so they kind of already had an idea of what I was gonna do. I've kind of always been this way growing up, so they didn't really care, and they're supportive. So is it possible to make money on OnlyFans if you don't do full nudity? Yes, but you have to be really smart about it. When I first started doing OnlyFans, I didn't do full nudity at all. I just did like implied nudity or lingerie photos, because at the time I only had a lot of fitness stuff on my Instagram, so I didn't have like any of the like hot pictures that I take or the modeling photos that I do now, so people wanted to see that. So I did really well, but I actually built up my following on Instagram to a decent amount. I want to say 35,000 people on Instagram, which is not that much, but it's a lot better than what I had before. And so once I did that, it kind of took off, but you have to stay really consistent with it, even if you're not doing full nude. Like, you have to make sure it's entertaining and you're always posting content, because you can make money on there, but obviously you're gonna have those people that are like, why aren't you posting nudes? But honestly, you can do whatever you want and not post nudes. It's whatever you want to do. Don't feel pressured to do nude just because everybody else does it. How did you get your start in porn? So let me think about this story. So I've always wanted to do porn. Like in high school, I wanted to be a porn star. Like that was like what I was set on, which is really funny. I don't know why I thought that. I just always wanted to do porn. Well, after I quit my jobs, I started modeling. I did a lot of tattoo modeling. Inked magazine was actually the one that picked me up, and they started posting me a lot, and I got a lot of followers off that. I went to Inked magazine events. I was in their magazine. I did a lot of stuff for Ink Girls, which is like it's basically like OnlyFans for inked models, and that's how I really got into like all of that. But I actually met Evan Seinfeld through Ink Girls because he actually owned the company, and Evan Seinfeld was a porn star himself and managed a lot of girls in the porn industry. He was married to Tara Patrick, so I actually went to him and I was like, hey, I think I want to do porn. And he's like, you really need to think about it and make sure that's like what you want to do, because once it's out there, it's out there. And I had already been doing OnlyFans content, like boy, girl, all of that on there anyway. So I was like, well, it's already on the internet, you know, so what's the difference between doing mainstream? And then he's like, well, why don't you just start with girl, girl, and then you can do boy, girl. And I was like, oh, I don't really like, I mean, I like girls, but I don't really like, I'd rather shoot with guys instead. So I was like, well, I'd rather do boy, girl instead. And he's like, all right, plus you make more money, and I like doing it. So he actually got me in contact with Motley Models, and I signed with them for 2 years, and Brazzers picked me up right away. So that is how I started, and I got a contract with Brazzers right when they saw me. So I'm really excited that I got to start in a really big company and not have to work my way up with other companies and that kind of thing. I just lost my place. Is my body natural? No, my tits are fake as fuck. But I haven't had any other work done. I've had Botox in my forehead, and I've had filler in my lips. But I've always had really big lips growing up, so people always thought my lips were fake anyway, so I don't really give a fuck. And yeah, I've had 3 boob jobs. So I got my first boob job in 2019. It was 450 cc's. They were nice, I liked them, but they weren't big enough, so I went to 700 cc's. And then because I have such a small frame and my implants are really heavy, the skin started stretching out and I had to get them redone, and so I went up another 100 cc's because why not. And yeah, and then I got an internal bra put in, but that's another story because it's really complicated. But no, other than that, I just have my tits done. Everything else is pretty much real. Pretty much. How was my high school experience? Well, I barely went, so I don't really have an experience. No, I'm just kidding. I like ditched all of my classes and didn't really go and was not a good student at all. But I ended up graduating early, so obviously I couldn't be that bad of a student if I ended up graduating early. I had to go to continuation high school because I missed so many classes and had to make up a lot of time. So yeah, also people didn't really like me in high school, so whatever. Am I still into lifting? If you go scroll on my Instagram, I was like super fit. I like was really, really crazy. I would run 7 miles in the morning and do spin every day, and then I would lift on my lunch break, and I was like, my whole life surrounded it. Obviously I was a trainer before, so I have a bunch of certifications, and that was like my whole lifestyle. But then I got really over it, and yeah, I don't really lift anymore. I don't work out at all, to be honest, like here and there, but really nothing. I got really over that whole lifestyle. Where did we meet, Keaton?
Jamba Juice.
No, we didn't meet at Jamba Juice. Okay, so how did we meet? We met, the question's how did me and Keaton meet? We met, Mickey Mace was doing a poker game, and I was friends, or I'm friends with one of his friends that was gonna be there, and I went to go meet them, and then Keaton happened to be there, and then I stalked him on his social media and found him, and now here we are. Oh shit, my phone locked. What modeling agencies or other companies do you use to promote yourself? I went over the whole Motley Model, so I'm signed to an actual adult entertainment agency where they get me my jobs and all that. And then other than, like, I do some things with like Inked Magazine. That's how I really started, with Ink Girls, Inked Magazine, and that kind of got me into my foot in the door for other opportunities. Soul Link Clothing, I did a lot with Soul Link Clothing, and different clothing companies and things like that that just saw me off of my Instagram from being posted on these other bigger pages and hired me to model. So that's basically how I did. Everything's through Instagram. I don't really model so much anymore for like clothing companies or anything like that. It's just not really something that's a priority to me anymore. But yeah. What inspired my transition from fitness to what you do now? I don't know. I think it's because I've always wanted to do what I do now. Like, I've always wanted to be in this position, so I guess I just took all the right steps to get there. I guess it's like something that's always been in the back of my mind. So I feel like once you like speak something into existence and you want to do it, and you know, you kind of make it happen, I guess that's how it happened. I can't really say like what the transition was. It just kind of all happened. How long do you plan to stay in the adult industry, and what's your future goals? I don't know how long I plan to stay in the adult industry. I guess it just depends on how everything goes or what my interests are. Everything always changes for me. Like obviously 2019 I was doing fitness and modeling, and then I turned to modeling, and then now I'm in porn. So I guess it just depends. I can't really say what my goals are yet. I kind of just like go with the flow and whatever I feel like makes me happy at the moment. Where are you originally from? I don't know if this goes like my family history or like where I'm from, but my dad's side is from Pennsylvania. My mom's side is Ecuadorian. My grandma came from Ecuador, and I was born in Pennsylvania, and I moved here when I was 2. Moved to California when I was 2, and I've stayed in California ever since. How old am I? I'm 27. I just turned 27 in March 3rd, 3-3. How did being featured in professional movies change your OnlyFans income? Honestly, it made it way better. I feel like having the exposure and just being like on the browser site, Motley site, you get a lot more reach with that versus just being on Instagram, because honestly Instagram's dead. Like the algorithm sucks. If you're a model on Instagram, nobody posts, like they don't put your shit on the algorithm, like they don't care about you. So honestly, being in the adult industry and having all of my videos out and things like that have really promoted all my social media sites, and including my OnlyFans. Any tips on how to let go of the trolls or disrespect? I'm new on social media. Honestly, you just have to like not give a fuck. I haven't given a fuck since I was in high school, so I guess I just have that advantage. Because I feel like you can't really go into it really giving a fuck, because there's always going to be people that don't like you for no reason. That's just how the internet works. So you just have to ignore it. I mean, I ignore it. I delete, block, fuck them. How is your boyfriend with being with a porn star? Why don't you answer that, Keaton?
This is your
obviously he doesn't like my profession. Like it's not the first pick of somebody's profession that you're in a relationship with. But I feel like depending on the person, like if you actually care about the person, you don't really care as much. Like obviously there's boundaries and things that are not like okay, you know, but obviously you have to go over that with your partner and establish that. But I don't know. He doesn't like it. I mean, it's not that he doesn't like it, but what do you think?
that.
That? Okay.
Wrecked porn for me.
Oh yeah, I also wrecked porn for him, for sure. Like every time he tries to go jack off, like my porn pops up, dick gets immediately soft. So I basically ruined that for him. Sorry to all my exes who find my fucking porn, and I ruined that for him, but I'm a porn star, so now you have the real thing. What got you into serious fitness training? Why did you decide to back off? I feel like I answered this question kind of. But how did I get into fitness training? I started working out when I was 16 because like, damn, I'm kind of putting on a little bit of weight. I'm really short, so like weight, you can kind of see it like right away. So I started working out when I was like 16, and then I saw like the girls that did like fitness competitions, like the bikini sign. I was like, damn, they're like really hot. I want to look like that. And so I got a personal trainer when I was 16, and then I was like, I want to be a trainer. So then I started training, and then I got super into fitness because I worked in the gym. Like my whole life revolved around the gym. So I just decided I didn't really want to live that lifestyle. It's too much. Like I was so crazy about my food and like what I ate, and I couldn't go anywhere. And like if I did go somewhere, there had to be a gym, and like I had to work out, and it was just too much. Got over it. Do I drink often? I actually don't drink. If I drink, it's like super rare. Like I have to be like at a party doing something. I don't drink at all. I used to drink here and there, like when I would go out, but now I don't really drink at all. Like the last time I drank was on New Year's Eve, so it's been quite some time. And I don't smoke weed. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I just don't really like it. Done that lifestyle before, and I'm just not a fan. You probably get this all the time, but is it hard to date? Well, I honestly didn't plan on being in a relationship with anybody, like especially when I started doing porn, because I didn't start shooting porn until October of last year. So I was just under the assumption that nobody would want to date me, because like who the fuck would want to date somebody that does porn? But yeah, I would assume that, because like for my friends that are in the industry, it is hard for them to date. So I would assume that it is, but I feel like things just happen for me a little bit differently. And now he's filming this video of me going over this question. And we're in New York right now. We're in New York filming this video. I didn't even say that. That's why I'm in this fucking chair by the window. Growing up, were you into sports or any creative arts that you could see yourself still doing? I played a lot of sports growing up. I played soccer. I was a gymnast for 9 years, so I was super athletic. That's probably why I liked fitness so much, because it gave me something to do. Because after I quit gymnastics, my mom's like, you're gonna turn into a man, like look like a man. She didn't want me doing it anymore, so then I quit. And I wish I didn't have quit, because I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I was a gymnast growing up, and I did dance and all that, but that was like the majority of my life was like gymnastics and soccer mostly. In the adult industry, is the adult industry really as bad as Mia and Lana are saying? So I feel like everybody else, like everybody has their own experiences with stuff, so I can't really speak on someone else's experiences. But I will say the way that I came into porn is a lot different than how most people start. I am 27 years old, I'm not 18, I'm not stupid. I already established myself way before doing porn, so I feel like a lot of girls get into the industry really young, and they're naive and they're down to do whatever because they think it's gonna make them the best and all of that. And it's like, if you're doing a lot of stuff that you don't want to do just because it's gonna get a good amount of views, like that's not a way to live your life. Or you shouldn't be like, if you don't want to do something, don't do it, you know. And a lot of girls get persuaded into doing things that they don't want to do, and then they regret it later on. So I think that might be the case for some people, but I don't do anything I don't want to do. So that's where you need to establish that if you are going to go in the adult industry, is your yeses and your nos. Because if you're doing stuff you don't want to do, you're going to regret it later. Especially because it's all over the internet. So I kind of have to live with that. Was there any sexual trauma in your life that steered you towards the adult entertainment industry? So there's like this huge, what's the word I'm looking for? Like stereotype of people that are in the adult industry that got like sexually abused when they were younger, which I find kind of crazy. That's not my case. Obviously there's other people that happened to them. But no, I actually had a pretty easy life growing up. My parents are great, so I was really lucky and blessed to not have a hard childhood like that. But yeah, sorry, my friend put a question in here and it's really funny, but I have to skip it because I accidentally screenshotted it just because it was funny. When did you start getting followers? Did it just happen, or did you do anything special? So I didn't really start working on my Instagram since like till 2019. Like obviously I had like my Instagram where I post like personal stuff on it and fitness stuff, but no one really gave a fuck. I wasn't really trying to get big on Instagram. I just had it for fun. So it didn't start blowing up until Inked magazine posted me on their Instagram, and they had millions of followers. So after that I had a ton of people following me. I went to the Pasadena Tattoo Expo. I did an event with Ink Mag, and then they posted me on their socials. So basically it really started with them, and then a bunch of companies reached out to me and I started getting more modeling jobs, and then that's when I quit my regular job, started modeling, did OnlyFans and all that. I think, oh wait, we're almost done. What was my first car? Okay, so my first car I saved up. I didn't have my parents buy me anything. I always bought my own shit. It was a Ford Ranger, a little white Ford Ranger, and I loved it. I like always wanted a little truck, and I was like, I'm gonna get a little truck, and I did. I bought it, and it was a piece of shit, to be honest. It ran really good, but like it was a piece of shit. Like, why the fuck did I want that car, you know? Like, but it actually like was really convenient. I think that's about it. Let me see. Why and when did you decide to get your boobs done? So I went over this in the beginning of when I got them done. But why did I get them done? I've always wanted fake tits. Like since I was really young, like I would see like fake tits and I'd be like, oh shit, like those are really hot. And that's like, even if I didn't have social media or do porn, I would have fake tits. Like that's just what I like. I don't give a fuck what other people like. I care about what I like. And when did I transition from personal trainer to social media personality? I kind of went over this already, but 2019, like the end of 2019 is when I started, because I started modeling in like October of 2019, and then 2020 came, and I was just like fucking over my job. I used to work 11 hours a day, and it was just way too much. Like I worked so much, I didn't make enough money. Like I had salary, but I did not make that much money for how much time I was actually working. And I was like, fuck this. Like I have no time to do anything. I don't even have that much money. Like I want to do whatever the fuck I want. And that's when I quit my job, was in February 2020. And ever since that, I have not had a normal job. When did you decide to not care what anyone else thought about you, about how you chose to live your life? I've always been like this. Like I've always like not given a fuck. I already went over that before, I think, in another question. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we did it. Now what? Now what, Keaton? Now what do I say? Do I sit here and just stare at you?
Yeah.
You wanna fuck?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Should I bounce up now? That's the ending. Thanks for listening to me rant about fucking random shit for a little bit. I'll probably do another one of these later on, because I feel like I missed a lot of questions, but that's all I got for the day because I did a poll.